Get your films on with the Blurs.
Once an idea has taken hold of the brain, it's almost impossible to eradicate.
Unpacking movies has never been more spot on, woke, fire, and just plain lit.
They are lit all the time.
So if you're unsure whether or not to plop down some cash for a film, check out the Blurs.
When a man with a 45 meets a man with a rifle, the man with a pistol is a dead man.
Brondo's got what plants crave.
It's got electrolyte.
You really only need to hang mean bastards. But mean bastards, you need to hang.
Don't say you weren't warned. Here's Brandon and Jeff.
Reverend up your engine.
Listen to the howling roar. Battle of attention, begging you to choose and go. Highway to the danger zone. Into the danger zone.
Ah, yes, that was little Tom Cruise's rendition of Danger Zone. Welcome to episode, what are we, 47?
Yep.
47 of the Film Blurs. I am Jeff Stewart, a.k.a. Uncle Jeffrey, a.k.a. J. Otis Dynamite, a.k.a. Revengeman Button, a.k.a. He Who Remains, a.k.a.
Patty Ruxpin,
a.k.a. Jobo Tupaki, a.k.a. To Be Determined. And I'm joined here, as always, with my main man.
I'm Brandon Norwood, a.k.a. Hero Protagonist, a.k.a. the true father of Joe's kids, a.k.a. Poppy Chulo, a.k.a.
The Glizzy King.
What do you do when you see a grown man eating a glizzy?
Hey, yo!
A.k.a. my biggest pet peeve is sports. Why? Because I don't like seeing grown men sweat on each other, a.k.a. Mr. Krusty, a.k.a.
The Lethal Protector.
a.k.a. Rough McGruff, a.k.a. oh man, they in the jets. They going fast in the jets, baby. We find the F-18 with D's nuts.
Oh my God, these nuts got fucking pilot's licenses.
A.k.a. B-Wood, the Magnificent.
Yay. I think eventually these AKAs are going to be like the first fucking 15 minutes of the show.
Oh no, we'll probably get up to 30 minutes. All right, well, let's start with some news that was announced recently. Jennifer Grey is coming back as Frances Baby Houseman in a Dirty Dancing sequel. It is, according to her, the next chapter, and it will feature 90s hip hop. It's going to be an evolution of the first one and stay true to the tone and what the first one did. It'll be directed by 50/50's Jonathan Levine, and it'll be co-written by him and Elizabeth Komiko.
Okay, I mean, that's cool. I mean, there was that sequel, Havana Nights, which I never saw. I don't even know if it like had anything to do with the first one. Look, we're in revival season. Everyone thinks getting a sequel. And after the movie that we saw today, or well, you know, this week, yesterday, after the movie, you know what? Fuck it. Let's do it. Let's see what happens.
It's cool that it'll also use pop music too from the era. So it'll get Alanis Morissette and Liz Phair. And it's also going to use songs from the original movie. So it's coming out 2024. They're going to get ready to shoot later this year. And like, listen, I'm at the point now where I'm just like, listen, let me see it before I judge it.
Right. As long as they don't do fucking digital Swayze, I'm good.
They can't do that shit again.
They can. Should they? No. But sometimes these motherfuckers go crazy.
All right. Well, let's get into our next bit of news, which is Viola Davis is closing a deal to reprise the role of Amanda Waller for an HBO Max series. And you know what? Fucking good.
Yeah, look, we all know Viola Davis is a national treasure. And her Amanda Waller is an amazing character. We've seen that HBO and this whole entire Suicide Squad universe can make fucking gold. So if we get some fucking hard spycraft shit with fucking Viola Davis just chewing scenery and scaring the fuck out of grown men, yeah, let's do it.
It's supposed to be a continuation of where Peacemaker left off, because at the end of Peacemaker, the doors were kind of blown off of Argus, and rightfully so, because fuck that shit.
Right.
She is the villain of the first two Suicide Squads, and even of Peacemaker.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm hoping she's in more movies, but DC, they're slowly creeping back, and I hope the public can trust them that they're starting to right the ship.
Right, and we've said this a million times. DC is not afraid to get weird, and I'm down to clown. Let's get weird with them. Fuck it, let's do it.
Well, I've heard recently that they've started testing the Flash, and it's okay. Yeah. And there's also, this is not confirmed, but this is rumors that in the sequels, after this first one, going forward in the sequels, Dylan O'Brien may replace Ezra, which I'm like, all right, fine.
Right. I mean, it's the whole entire multiverse, Flashpoint. Well, like, they can do whatever.
And you know what? No offense. I like Dylan better than Ezra anyway.
100% less bitch beaten. 100% less.
John Woo is going to do an English language remake of his own film, The Killer, for Peacock. Dropping next year. That is something I've never thought I'd ever say in my life.
On the cack. Look, Peacock. As much as I hate saying the name, and I still hate that I have to subscribe to it, it's actually putting out some pretty fucking good content.
Oh, you subscribe to it?
I mean, I have people who subscribe to it.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I got a free account, because they got the free and the paid version, and there ain't shit on the free version.
Right, but like ever since Bust Down, I'm looking forward to this fucking Tiger King show they got with Kate McKinnon. NBC.
I heard they canceled Saved by the Bell, which I'm mad about.
I didn't even realize it was Saved by the Bell revival.
Yeah, they canceled it. And people say it's excellent too. Like, it's actually funny. It pays respect to the original while doing its own thing.
Look, I stopped Bel Air about 6 episodes in. I guess I got to jump back in there. Nostalgia's fine, and we're proving that nostalgia can, create some really, really good content. But let's try to be a little bit more original. I don't know. I want some new content. I want some new characters.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So as we promised you, now we're going to get in our last bit of news here. We're going to get into some Doctor Strange spoilers.
So spoiler alert for everyone who hasn't seen the movie.
And you don't need to, at this point, if you haven't seen it, fucking why bother? Don't go see this shit anyway.
Right. And the thing is, the spoilers, it has nothing. It has no fucking bearing on anything.
Yeah, well, the whole movie almost is like a non-entity anyway. So, like, Jeff, what do you want to start with? You go ahead.
Well, let's start with the thing that's making everybody angry. Let's start with the thing we kind of touched upon last week, or when we talked about this. Let's talk about how the main villain in the film is actually Wanda.
Yeah, so if they were going to do that, they should have came out and told us in the trailers, like, yo, Wanda's the villain, instead of keeping that secret, because you have all these women dressing up to go see this movie, and they're walking out either angry or disappointed or hurt or all three.
Right.
And I get it. And, Wanda's journey through the MCU has been nothing but trauma. Just trauma, traumatic event after traumatic event after, and like her motivations are just
pain,
either grief, pain, or trauma.
Right. And here's the thing. We already went through this arc in WandaVision.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything that her core motivation in fucking Doctor Strange is pretty much the core motivation in WandaVision. And we have a full character arc. We have the growth and everything like that in WandaVision. And you sort of shit on that in Doctor Strange. In Doctor Strange, her core motivation is to jump to a universe where her kids are alive. But here's my fucking thing. You created those kids in the first place. So why don't you just fucking, in this universe, do it again.
Yeah, go to a secluded island and do that again. Here's my thing, and this is what really fucking bothers me. Ever since Civil War, Vision has been, or no, even the end of Age of Ultron, like Vision has been her like center, her like connection to humanity. And you know, them two, they were in love. So the fact that Vision is completely gone, no mention of him in this movie, and she's doing all this for her non-existent kids that she had for like what, a month tops,
Right?
maybe. Versus the dude who she's been with for years and kept her centered for years. It's insane. And we know White Vision is out there.
Right. And like she is, you know, literally one of the most powerful characters in the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
She can do pretty much anything she fucking wants. And yet, like, it's just this whole entire ham-fisted, oh, I gotta, you know, the only thing that made me whole was being a mother, which is fine. I get it and stuff like that. But fucking maybe go on a couple of dates. You know, maybe see some therapy. Like maybe make some real kids. Maybe just anything. But
and in this day and age, to have a woman's motivation, especially someone who's clearly in her 30s, to have her be like, oh, my motivation is my non-existent kids. I'm like, that is a little problematic, my guy. Like, you can't make her like, I think it would have been more interesting having her join Doctor Strange through this journey in the multiverse and seeing how she is on her own as a person and coming to her own as the Scarlet Witch before she goes full on bad guy.
Right. Because here's the thing. If you look throughout the whole entire MCU, like all these movies that she's been in, she's pretty much been not so much a villain, but a cause of the problem. I'd like to see an arc where she recognizes that and tries to do better or change, or even if you're gonna go full fucking villain, do some fucking Thanos shit where she's like, what I'm doing for the greater good.
You know, have her be a hero for a little bit. You know what I mean? Have her build up her public persona, have her like save the day a few times. And then maybe in phase 5 or 6, then she becomes the villain. But like, this shit is so fucking, it is so ham-fisted and so lazy just because, again, WandaVision, she goes through the same exact arc. And at the end of WandaVision, you have Captain Rambeau's daughter who becomes Photon at the end of the show. And even she says to her, like, yo, Wanda, they're still good in you. You could still do good and you could still do better. These people may hate you, but you got to get their trust and earn their trust. And she's like, yo, you're right. And she flies off. And I'm like, so that completely is negated by this fucking movie.
Yeah. So, I mean, so that's the major spoiler. When I saw like that reveal is what, 10 minutes, 15 minutes into the fucking film?
Into the fucking movie.
And I'm just like, oh, all right, well.
Yeah, I felt the air just go out the room. Like I kind of looked around and I just see everybody's shoulders just slump down. Like, that sucks.
Like even if halfway through the movie, like she has the turn, like she sees all of these other Wandas that are happy with their kids, and that's what turns her. Maybe it would be a little bit more I would be a little bit more forgiving, but like this was like the character deserves better. Elizabeth Olsen deserves better.
Yeah, because she's trying her best with a role in this movie that is thankless. Like there is nothing to this role,
and she's good. She's really fucking good in this movie. It's just the movie's not good. Like I said before, while I was watching it, I was enjoying it. But then as soon as you step out of the theater and you start actually thinking about it, like the further I get away from that screening, the more disappointed I am.
See, you enjoyed it. I did not the first time. And I went again and saw it in IMAX 3D. And I will tell you what, the trailers played a lot better than the fucking movie did. Like the Avatar trailer, that blew the roof off. The Nope trailer in full IMAX blew the roof off. This shit, everybody just walked out. And you know it's bad. This is coming from people who just go to see these fucking movies. You know it's bad when I heard one lady said, "What even happened in this movie?"
I can't tell you. And that's our job, is to tell you what happened in the fucking movie. I can't tell you stuff.
This feels like a movie they made just because they're like, oh, it's been 6 years since Doctor Strange. We got to keep the multiverse going. Let's just fucking cobble something together. This shit. And my other thing too is the Scarlet Witch's home base in this movie. How fucking random is that? Where she has a whole fucking mural of her and her kids, and it's a whole ass like throne room, and you got these giant monsters like. So it was like her, like so it's some fucking like, oh, it was foretold bullshit. Like she is the actual. Did she create the Darkhold, or was the Darkhold like prophesy? See, it's fucking nothing's explained in this motherfucker because they don't care, bro. Right? Like this movie does not give a fuck about telling you a coherent story. And I'll tell you what really pissed me off when they go to the multiverse, and we'll get into it now, where we meet the Illuminati and Christine Palmer. She's like, yeah, my universe is 383. Your universe is 616. And the dude next to me was just like, ooh, and almost creamed his pants. And I looked at my brother. My brother, he just put his head in his hands like, oh my God. And I'm like, and I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, yo, shut the fuck up, man. It is not that cool.
Well, here's the thing. In the first screening that we saw, the people did the same thing, and I'm like, wait, so you are excited that they mentioned a fact from the comic book that this is based on? You simple fucking moron. That's why we get these shit movies, because they know all they have to do is reference something from the comic book that you know, and that maybe the average viewer doesn't know, and you'll fucking just explode. And they don't have to give you an actually good movie. And that's where fan culture has turned on itself, you know?
Yes. Now these are fucking theme park rides.
Right. So now, like, they know, it's like, oh, we put a little tidbit in there, something that only the nerds would know, and they'll line up. The tickets are sold. You know? Be careful what you wish for. You know, we all grew up being nerds, being beat up because we liked comic books and shit like that. And I was like, oh, now I wish I were cool. Now you have it, right? And they're using it against you.
Yeah. Yeah, well, let's start talking about Earth 383.
Yeah, let's talk about Earth.
Except you go on red and you stop on green, which is fucking stupid. This, you could tell this is all reshoots just because the digital motion blur, like the rest of the movie does not have this cheap digital look that this section does. Like this section looks like goddamn garbage, and like it looks like, you remember mini DVs, those little tapes?
Yeah.
It looks like they shot this shit on mini DV.
It looks like did you ever play the game Wing Commander?
Yeah.
It looks like some Wing Commander shit where like the green screen technology was obviously not up to par for this fucking video game that you're trying to do.
Man, so we'll get into the Illuminati. So the Illuminati is, because they have to pass judgment on Dr. Stephen Strange because he's the most dangerous threat to the multiverse. It is 383 Mordo. We never see the main universe's Mordo. Right. And the fact that we still got to do another fucking movie to deal with this motherfucker, where I'm just like, can we not get Brother Voodoo or some other big character tied to Doctor Strange? We got to go back to this motherfucker in the next movie.
Right.
So we got 383 Mordo. We got Professor X.
Professor X from like the actual professor, with the yellow wheel hover chair and all that shit.
That's the only, I will tell you what, that's the only fan service that made me warm, was like when they played the music from the cartoon.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah. That was cool. But like I said, no relevance.
Yeah. Monica Rambeau as Captain Marvel. That's a nod to the fans because she was Captain Marvel before Carol Danvers.
Right.
Captain Carter.
So so if you watched What If, there's a whole entire episode on
What if Peggy became Captain America?
Right. And that was that, like, all of this shit was cool, but it was a it was obvious fan service.
And then the last person, it was John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic.
And everybody lost their fucking minds.
Which, fine, cool. He's going to be Mr. Fantastic. Awesome. Hopefully,
it was cool.
And you know what? Hopefully he directs the movie. And I hope his wife is Sue Storm. That'd be perfect.
Like, all of those cameos, all of that, it was cool, but it did nothing.
Like, that just padded out the runtime for a movie that wasn't even that long to begin with.
It was a big budget fan movie.
Yes,
at
like
that
you
point.
can tell this was all shit they reshot. Like, I was just like, this has nothing to do with nothing. And so and Black Bolt, they took Anson Mount from the Inhumans TV show, gave him some fucking direction because Anson Mount's a good actor, and in that show he sucks. And they gave him the right costume, and so you got Black Bolt. And yeah, man, like, the only thing I can say about these cameos is obviously Fantastic Four. Something's going to come with that. Hopefully they redo Inhumans, because now seeing Anson Mount as Black Bolt, I'm like, yo, y'all need to go back and redo Inhumans.
Well, can he even do that now that he's on Strange New Worlds?
Yeah, I think Strange New Worlds is only 13 episodes a season.
Okay.
Obviously we're gonna get X-Men, and then the other two is just literally fan service. So like, all this is just like, all right, cool. So when they die, it holds no weight, because I'm just like, yeah, well, I mean, it's not ours. It's not our version. So like, did I see it coming? Yeah, because they made Wanda so OD powerful, and they were so cavalier about Doctor Strange's warnings, like, yo, this bitch will come and kill us all. And they're just like, eh. And I was like, yeah, okay, so these motherfuckers are gonna die. So when it happened, it's just like, sure.
Yeah. And like, when they died, I mean, some of them were really brutal. Like, fucking, but like, all right, so Wanda versus Professor X. Professor X, if he can fucking go toe to toe with the Dark Phoenix, right? Like, that battle between him and Wanda should have been a little bit more.
Well, I mean, it's the movie's fault, man. It's nothing but. And you know what? I'll say this too, because she's there's like so many MacGuffins in this movie, and she's a MacGuffin. America, watching it the second time, I really like the character. I really like the actress, but she's a fucking human MacGuffin.
Right. Like, she's got
no agency in the story.
Like, she's just running. She's not even like she's like, I'm trying to go through these multiverses to find the parents that I threw into whatever lost universe. It's just like, we start off, Doctor Strange is protecting her because Wanda's after her. But she's got like, her backstory is weak at best. And let's talk about how the TVA is never mentioned.
Oh, I want to talk about that. So apparently I read this. Kevin says the way this connects to Loki is that Sylvie and Loki killing He Who Remains makes all these time branches open up. And so once the spell in Spider-Man, when that spell messes up, the TVA would have been sent to Doctor Strange and the Spider-Man. They would have been pruned from the timeline. But since he's dead and the TVA's in disarray, that's why they're not in this movie, and they didn't show up in what's it called? No Way Home, and why He Who Remains couldn't keep the timelines in control in No Way Home once this started ripping apart.
Here's the thing.
That's fucking thin.
It's real fucking thin, because like, all right, what is the girls? I can't remember her fucking names.
Who? America. Played by Soshi.
Yeah.
Soshi Gomez.
So America is what, like 20?
16.
16? Like she's had this power. Let's say it came about like now I'm really thinking like it came about when she was 10 or going through puberty and shit like that. Right. So that's 6 years. You know, that the TVA like
just let her go through.
Just let her go, just fucking punching holes through universes.
Yeah. I was thinking that too. Yeah.
Like, okay, all right. Like she should have been the biggest threat.
Yes, because they even said there's only one America. There's no other America in any other multiverse. It's only just one.
Right. So she should like fuck Loki and Sylvie. This bitch is the biggest threat to the multiverse because she can just go willy-nilly. A teenage girl who can just jump from like I hate to bring it back, but like fucking everywhere,
everything everywhere
all at once did it better.
And you know what, man? They used the multiverse better. Like we got to see different versions of different people and how they were used in the narrative. Even different multiverses used in the narrative. Because even in this movie, they don't even use the multiverses to the story's advantage at all.
Not at all. Like it's I'm gonna say this right now. Give the Daniels a Marvel movie.
Oh, they were approached.
Were they?
Yeah, they Marvel asked them to do Loki, and they took the meeting, and they took a few meetings, and then they passed. And so doing those meetings for Loki, that's what inspired them to do Everything Everywhere All at Once. Oh, because that's their Marvel movie.
All right. Well,
what's another spoiler in this? Like, there's really nothing else because nothing else happened. There's literally nothing happens in this fucking movie.
Oh wait, the other spoiler, I guess that we both had to look it up online right after the movie.
Oh, Clea.
Yeah.
Charlize Theron in the mid-credit scene is Clea, and Clea is a highly notable character from Doctor Strange's comics. She becomes his wife and then eventually becomes the Sorcerer Supreme. Also, that's another thing that pissed me off. I'm like, so Doctor Strange is never going to be the Sorcerer Supreme again because of a technicality.
Right.
It's like this is some cheap ass storytelling.
I mean, it's cute the first 2 times they mention it in the movie.
Even in No Way Home, I was like, okay, so this is a problem they're gonna fix in Multiverse of Madness. And nah, as you said, they play it for fucking jokes because everything in Marvel is a fucking joke now.
Right, and that's fine because we had that dour DC universe for the longest time, but like Marvel was the antidote to that because they were able to balance the humor with the storytelling, the drama. But now it's just like yuck.
Yeah, man, it feels. How can I say this? I think it's cool that as we said before, the movies in the previous phases, they do work on their own, even as a part of a larger narrative. Now we're just watching stuff that just doesn't matter to anything, where I have even no idea what we're building to. Like, we still don't know what's good with Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character. Who the fuck is she?
Right.
Allegra De Fontaine. I'm like, and I Googled her, and even people, it's hard to find any information on that character.
Right. Where are the Dark Avengers? Where's the big bad? What is even if it was like us seeing a reconstruction effort after the snap, give us fucking if.
And if this was a truly standalone movie, then you wouldn't need to have watched Endgame, Infinity War, fucking WandaVision, fucking the first Doctor Strange. Like, it feels like now you're just watching shit just to watch shit, and none of this fucking matters.
None of it. So Marvel is on course, at least for me, to be where Star Wars is, where I don't like. You took this thing that I loved, and you sort of. Yeah, it was always a commodity. I'm not gonna get it twisted. I know it was always product. It was always a commodity. but in the beginning it seemed like people cared.
Yeah, and it had some heart to it.
Right? People cared about what they were making. Now it seems like they're just making it because it makes money, because they can, because it's their job. And like, look, I believe movies are magic, and I realize it's a job, right? But you've taken the fucking magic out of these movies.
My thing too is 2 points I want to make. One, I thought after No Way Home that the possibilities were endless, like limitless. Like we could do anything now, and this is going to open up a whole new world. The multiverse is going to crack open a whole new world where we're going to have limitless possibilities going forward. And now it's very clear there's no possibilities going forward after this movie. And number two, Disney is the biggest company on earth, and they own the biggest studio on earth. Marvel Studios is the biggest studio on earth. Doctor Strange costs like, I think 200 million. Let me look it up. But it costs a lot of money, man. Like these movies aren't cheap, you know what I'm saying?
Right, but how does that cost $200 million? And we've seen movies that are much more epic for a fraction of the price.
Like I'm just bowled over by myself. It's this movie. Yeah, this movie costs $200 million, and you're trying to tell me this movie that costs $200 million looks like it was made for 50. Like these things look fucking cheap and ugly. And it's not, and I can't even say it's not on the fault of the directors. It's on the fault of Marvel because they keep foisting all their creative people visually on them. Like their arts department, y'all got to step it up because this shit looks like dog shit.
Right. I'm going to say this until the cows come home. Ambulance costs $40 million. And all practical. It looks 10 times better than anything that's come out of Marvel in this phase. Fucking how much did the Daniels movie cost?
25.
$25 million.
And remember, they use practically one location, and that one location is bigger, has more scale, is more like that's my problem too with Doctor Strange. Is like the first Doctor Strange, they built sets.
Right.
They went to Nepal and shot in Nepal. Karmitage felt big. And this one, Karmitage looks fucking small and it looks cheap because it looks like a green screen.
The whole entire movie is a goddamn cutscene.
From a video game, yeah.
From a video game.
It looks like they're always floating in front of a green screen.
Yeah. So yeah, I could talk about how disappointed I am in this movie until the cows come home.
So that's Doctor Strange. That's our thoughts on Doctor Strange 2. I'm looking at you, Thor, and I'm looking at you, Black Panther. Like I said, I'm gonna give it to Ant-Man just so we could get to
right.
He Who Remains is variant. And you know what, man? I think after Ant-Man, that might be it. Especially because, like we said the last show, the Marvels comes out the week after Barbie and Oppenheimer. And I'm just like, will anybody give a fuck at that point?
Right. And like, I love Taika, right? And I love what he did with Ragnarok, but him hyping it up so much, this Love and Thunder, makes me apprehensive.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Also, real quick, I want to say to everybody saying that Doctor Strange should have been rated R, y'all fucking dweebs. It's not that bad.
Right. It pushes PG-13, but it's still
Barely.
PG-13.
Barely. It is not even that bad. Like the Batman pushed the fucking rating more than this movie.
Right. There's more blood, violence, and gore in this than you're used to in a Marvel movie, but it's not like it's not like it's over the top. I mean, if you know Raimi, then you know that this is tame.
Yo, y'all, Marvel has made y'all fucking soft.
Right.
Fucking, all right, so
All right, hold
we're
on.
gonna move into what have you watched lately? All right.
What you watching? What you watching? I said what you watching? What you watching?
What are you watching?
I kept it kind of easy this week because it was a busy week and everything like that. So let's start with Netflix decided that I really should I should watch War of the Worlds again. The Steven Spielberg remake.
That's one of Spielberg's best directed joints. Just the screenplay sucks.
Right. So like, all right, I click on it because it's fucking my man Tommy Cruise, fucking Mr. Hollywood right there. And I remember why I didn't like this fucking movie. It's like you said, it's well directed. Some of the set pieces were absolutely jaw dropping. Right. That whole entire scene with Tim Robbins in the basement, fucking ass clenching tightness, right? Butthole was twitching. Dakota Fanning.
What about the brother? The brother too got on my nerves.
Yeah, all of the kids were just fucking horrible and annoying. Her crying throughout the whole entire fucking movie made me be like, you know what? I'm going to just leave this bitch on the side of the road. I don't care if she's fucking 10. Just the incessant whining, the crying, the teenage son who's like, during the big battle scene where he's like, I just want to see, I have to see what's going on. And he runs over the hill where the army is getting its ass whooped. Right?
Yeah.
I was like, I got to see what's happening. It's like, motherfucker, do you see that the entire United States military industrial complex is fucking just getting slaughtered? And you want to see what's happening? Run away.
I mean, I'll say this. Tom Cruise was not a good dad in that movie, but
Right.
the motherfucker was trying.
Right.
All things considered, I'm like, I don't even know if I could have done better in his situation.
Right. He was king of the weekend dads in this one. He was straight a Jersey dad in this fucking
Joe.
one.
That is Joe personified.
That was fucking the War of the Worlds might as well be Joe Begins.
Yeah.
But that's my problem with a lot of these fucking alien invasion movies, zombie movies, shit like that. No one has any self-preservation instincts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I'm the kind of motherfucker, if I see one person run away,
I run too.
Like, motherfuckers just want to like wait and see. It's like, oh, well, this guy's running. Let me sit here for 5 minutes and see what's going on. Like, this is the movie I want to make. I want to make a movie where when shit goes down, people start acting like real people and just get the fuck out of the way.
You know what? I'll tell you why that's true. I was coming from work one day and I saw people running, and then I started running, and then I stopped because I was out of breath, and I was like, yo, dude, what is going on? He's like, and dude just turns to me, active shooter. And I was like, oh, all right, fuck that. And I kept running. And I heard some ladies like, yo, let's just hop on the subway and duck into a subway and get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
That was at Penn Station, dog.
Yeah. That's what real people do. You know? That's why that I don't know if it was real, that Russian experiment where one person just got in line and everyone else got in line behind them. Same fucking principle. Like, you see a motherfucker run, you run. I don't care if the answer is, oh shit, the new Jordans, nigga. It's like, hey, it's either the new Jordans or someone's trying to actively kill me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the special effects do not hold up, especially compared to today, but like, it's
how did the special effects look against the Marvel movie? Because that's how we gotta fucking start comparing this shit.
The best Marvel movie or Doctor Strange.
How about this? We'll say, let's start from Phase 4 on, because Phase 4 on's been dog shit. So from Phase 4 compared to, let's start with Black Widow to now.
On par, on point, on fucking point. Right? On fucking point. It's
this is almost 15 fucking years ago.
Yeah, same design team, everything like that.
Jesus Christ.
Right. Give it up for Spielberg for doing the thing. It's just like the script was horrible. This like nothing makes sense. There's no sense of self-preservation, especially in the family unit. Give it up to Tom Cruise, man. That's the only reason I stuck around.
It's because he has that. He's a charisma machine, baby.
Right, and he's a fucking good actor. I will clown Tom Cruise until the day that he has his assassins kill me. But I respect this motherfucker because I know at least I know if I see a Tom Cruise movie, I will be entertained by Tom Cruise. If not the movie as a whole. And this is, I hate to say, this is the Spielberg movie that I hate. I don't hate it. I just now I remember why I saw it once in theaters and I haven't seen it again in 15 years.
See, I bought the 4K just because it was on HBO right when the 4K came out.
Right.
And there's just certain shots that, especially when they're driving on the highway, like that oneer that Spielberg's doing, I was just like, dog, this is next level. And that's why I cannot wait to pop in that Blu-ray and just hit mute and just have it on in the background.
Right. That oneer it's fucking fantastic. It's just the special effects do not hold up.
Listen, I believe you, dog. I haven't seen it since then.
But the fact that it was such an audacious fucking scene, you got to give respect to that because once again, Spielberg comes through the gate, everyone else tries to ape him.
Yeah.
I do remember the scariest and most haunting scene that it haunted me when I first saw it. It haunts me now. That train on fire. There's just
I don't even remember that.
There's just something where they're waiting to get to the boat and they're waiting at this railroad crossing and just this fucking passenger train speeds by them on fucking fire. And that was just a haunting visual to me. And it was yo, this train is still going. Meanwhile, everybody on it is fucking dead.
Man, I don't even remember that. The only thing I remember, a train on fire, was from the first Godzilla.
What, the Emmerich Godzilla?
No.
Oh, are we talking the first Godzilla?
The Gareth Edwards one.
The Gareth Edwards one, yeah. All right. Man, I gotta go back and see that. I love the first Godzilla. I will defend that movie. And I've converted people on loving that first Godzilla because I love the fact that you don't see the monster until fucking halfway through it. You don't see Godzilla.
I say this as if you, for our listeners out there, if you have a 4K TV and a 4K Blu-ray player, you want that, you want Kong, and you want Godzilla versus Kong. Them shits in 4K. Oh my God. Especially got a home theater set up. Turn that shit up loud, nigga.
All right. So that's War of the Worlds. From there, I watched Cadillac Man.
The fuck is that?
Cadillac Man is a comedy from I think it was '89, starring Tim Robbins and Robin Williams. Robin Williams plays the scummiest of car salesmen, who's just fucking everybody, right? And he's got one day to sell 12 cars and shit like that.
Okay.
Right. So he's at his dealership, and one of the husband of one of the chicks that he's supposedly fucking,
right, takes
the dealership hostage. And the husband is, the boyfriend is Tim Robbins, and he's got a machine gun and shit like that. He's got plastic explosives, and it's a hostage drama comedy. And
what?
Yeah, man. And it's it's weird. It's a movie that could only have been made in the fucking 80s, man. It's weird. It's kind of funny because seeing Robin Williams play an utter scumbag was kind of refreshing. It's problematic on all sorts of fucking levels. I like the Asian waitress, racist as fuck, but also hilarious.
Let me ask you, which one's worse? Was it worse in Licorice Pizza or this one?
What, like the
Asian racism?
Oh, this one.
Okay.
Because like
motherfuckers lost their minds over Licorice Pizza.
No, like this is 80s peak. Like, what's woke? Like
Got you.
And
fucking baby boomers,
right, man? Like sometimes, I've gone to therapy for years to try to figure out why I am the way I am, and then I watch a movie like Cadillac Man. It's like, oh yeah, the fucking 80s. Yeah. I was born in the fucking 80s. Yeah, of course I'm fucked up. Big up to the first appearance of I've ever seen of Fran Drescher's breasts.
What?
Yes. There's a scene where there's a scene with Robin Williams after having coitus with Fran Drescher, and you get to see her breasts. And
I hate to ask, but how were they?
Magnificent.
Yeah.
Like, I hate to be that guy. It's like, oh, there's titties in this movie, but it's the 80s.
I mean, not for nothing. Fran Drescher, she looked good. I remember seeing her on The Nanny. I'm like, nigga, this is where nanny porn came from.
Right. So give it up to Fran Drescher's breasts. And Fran Drescher, she was actually, because it wasn't the nanny Fran Drescher voice. It was like her regular Fran Drescher voice. And, for this movie, for what they gave her to work with, she was pretty good. She was pretty good. Laura Petty's in this. He's one of fucking Robin Williams' side bangs. Like, he's just going through the gambit, man. He's just hitting up everybody.
Shout out to Robin Williams.
Shout out to fucking just slanging dog.
I don't give a fuck. That's some. I don't give a fuck.
Right. That's that big dick 80s energy, man. That's that big coke energy. So Cadillac Man, it's if you want to sum up the 80s, it's Cadillac Man. It's sleazy. It's kind of endearing. It's problematic, but fun. After that, I will talk about. I watched The Contractor with Chris Pine.
Oh, how was it?
Standard. It was standard basic issue. Like, every fucking beat.
So that's why it got dumped to streaming?
Yeah, you like every fucking beat. I mean, but I love this type of shit. Like, I love movies about people who actually know what they're doing those things.
Like the movie we'll talk about later.
Right, exactly. It's well acted. Chris Pine kills it. The action is not over the top, but excellently executed. But if you've seen one of these movies, you've seen them all. But it works. It fucking works. It's like a nice Sunday afternoon thriller. So it's on whatever streaming you want to watch. Because I am going through withdrawal on Tokyo Vice, I decided to watch Black Rain again. I love that fucking movie.
Okay, all right. Yeah. I'm not gonna argue with you.
Yeah, like Black Rain. If you don't know, it's Michael Douglas and Andy Garcia tracking down a Yakuza boss from New York to Tokyo, and it's amazing. It felt like Ridley Scott was channeling Tony Scott. It felt like a Tony Scott movie. Even from like the shot choices, the editing and everything like that. But it's Ridley's directing. And it's good. It's a dime tight 80s fucking crime thriller. And moving on from that, like I said, I didn't watch too much. Let's talk about Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
That last episode.
Big Boy's hash trip.
Right.
He ate a space cake and tripped the fuck out.
Yeah, and that's and I love these standalone Paperboy episodes where he has these existential crises. Like it was in season 2 was with his mother. All the shit with his mother. I can't remember what season 1 was. I know there was one in season 1.
Well, season 2, it was with the fan.
The fan, but he got chased into the woods.
Yeah.
And then it became a meditation on like his mother and losing his mother. And like that's a through line throughout the whole entire show is him dealing with the death of his mother, because she even appeared, like, I don't want to ruin it for anybody, like she even appears in this last episode in season 3.
I think it's interesting that like I knew it wasn't literal once the chick started talking about Earn and what's his face, Darius.
Right.
And I was thinking about it. I was just like, I told Trey this because me and Trey watched it together. And those dudes suck. And even in Entourage, everybody had a purpose. Like E was his manager. Johnny was his brother. And of course, he's going to take care of his family. And then Turtle was his driver. Like everybody had a purpose.
Right.
Here, Earn is his manager and works hard.
Right.
Fine. What does Darius contribute?
Darius is just his boy. Like
other than, and that's why he had this existential crisis, because
right.
the whole episode before they eat the space cakes, he's like, "Oh, nigga, you got it, nigga. I don't have money."
Right. So that's going to come to a head in season 4. So I was talking to my dude Isaac Banks about that, like, and I've talked about Isaac before. He's a fucking fantastic DP, and he hadn't watched that last episode, but he watched the Trinity to the Bone episode, right? And he's like, fucking white people, am I right? And he's a white dude, and I go, yeah, this season of Atlanta almost makes me feel sorry for white people.
Nope.
Right, but like he says the most fucking downest thing I've ever heard anyone say, especially from a white dude, is like, don't ever feel sorry for white people.
Yep. And
I was like, that's the truth. That's the truth. That's the season. That's season 3 in a nutshell. Don't feel sorry for white people. That's the core. That's the core theme throughout season 3. It's fucking amazing.
I don't want to spoil it, but like the centerpiece of the episode is in a club called Club.
You can't even say the name of the club without giving away.
Oh no, you can, because I mean, so many people have been quote unquote canceled. So You'll see who pops up, and like the shit is so self-aware. I was just like, I can't believe this nigga actually came on.
And what was the line? What was he? What was the line he gave? It was amazing. The line was, "That's the terrible and amazing thing about being a white person.
Yep.
We don't have to learn lessons unless we want to."
Yep. And I remember.
I was like, clap.
Fuck. I was like, God damn, that's not true.
God damn, that ain't true.
White people get to do whatever the fuck they want. That includes women too, not just dudes, but women.
Like, we don't have to learn lessons unless we want to. Fuck. So Atlanta season 3, it's done. So if you haven't, Watch the
Wait,
shit.
wait, it ain't done. There's still a couple more left.
I thought it was only 8 episodes.
10.
10. Oh shit. So we got 2 more episodes. Fuck yes.
And then season 4 later this year.
All right. So yeah, season 3, where you got 2 more episodes to watch. Catch up on that shit, because I can't imagine how this thing's gonna end. And that's all I'm gonna talk about, because we got some other shit to talk about.
All right. I mean, I'm like Jeff. I ain't really watch much, so I'll just run through some shit. Still loving We Own This City. Goddamn, does this show get harder and harder to watch by each passing episode?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I watched that last episode last night because a boy of mine was actually in it this episode. But yeah, if you thought The Wire was like a rough watch, this is like deeper into police corruption than The Wire ever got.
This season of Barry is just unfucking hinged. Like
fucking crazy.
I have no idea where this shit is going, and it is just everybody's making bad choices. Everybody's hurting, and it's just like Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And they have season 4 already written and ready to go. So hopefully this gets season 4 greenlit.
Right. Because I mean, Barry, you see that he is not this good guy that the first 2 seasons made him out to be. Like, we knew he was an assassin and shit like that, but he was like, oh, I was just doing it because, it was making a buck. Now we see that, he has no idea how to deal with real people.
I would also say I guarantee you season 4 is going to be it.
Oh yeah. And I wouldn't want it to go further than that.
It depends on what they come up with. Like, I'd say no more than 5.
Yeah, but like even this season, I'm like, how are they gonna get through this? Because the outlook does not look good for anybody.
All right. Better Call Saul. I'm halfway through this week's episode, and it's just, again, this is another show where everybody's just making poor choices.
Yep.
I don't know how this episode's gonna. I don't even know how this fucking season. There's only 3 more episodes before the break, and so we're gonna take a break after this at the end of the month, and it'll be back for its final run in July.
Yeah. I watched it last night, and it's just like, I love how you don't know where anything is going from episode to episode. Like, it is truly just a masterpiece in storytelling, a masterclass in storytelling.
I want to see how they're going to resolve the present day. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
Continuing on Hulu, Under the Banner of Heaven, fucking episode 3 is wild. This shit, it gets crazier and crazier. And I'm just like, God damn, the Church of the Latter-day Saints is fucking nuttier than anything I've seen in any other religion. Jesus Christ.
I mean,
like, it's so bad that even these fucking mountain people are realizing, like, oh, we fucking putting women down and just putting them in a prison by forcing them to have kids and saying it's God's will. And I'm like, this is a redneck nigga saying this shit.
I mean, fucking Colts be Colton.
Jesus Christ. So shout out to the Church of Latter-day Saints. You know what I mean? Y'all fucking nuts. Also, Andrew Garfield is just killing it, bro. He's giving a hell of a performance. So shout out to Andrew Garfield. We're 3 episodes in. Go on Hulu, watch Under the Banner of Heaven. I don't want to give too much away. Just watch it. And finally, for TV, Outer Range. I watched Outer Range the last 4 episodes because I saw the first 2. So this past weekend, I binged the last 4 episodes, and this show is fucking wild. It had a twist a twist/reveal in the final moments of the last episode of the season. I was just like, what the fuck? And it recontextualizes everything. You're just like, oh, this shit changes the story going forward.
Oh, I gotta
the Abbott family is our protagonist, and those motherfuckers, Like they take hit after hit this season, and by the end of it, I'm like, bro, what are they even gonna do for next season? And then that reveal comes, and I was just like, how is she going to react to this shit once she finds out? Because once she finds out, even she either has some explaining to do, or she's gonna lose her fucking mind.
Yo, all right, I gotta watch this shit.
I love it. It is weird. It is strange. It is a more palatable Twin Peaks. Imagine if Twin Peaks was less surreal, still super weird, had a story you could understand, and it was a Western instead of a soap opera.
So how is it compared to, like, do you see Tales from the Loop?
I haven't finished it. I'm only 4 episodes in.
Right, but like compared to Tales from the Loop, how weird is it?
Weirder, but it also moves faster. Like Tales from the Loop is very methodical.
Right. Okay.
And deliberately paced, where I'm just like, there's parts of Tales from the Loop where I'm like, yo, can we move forward?
Right.
Like,
right.
This thing constantly moves.
All right. I think I know what I'm watching this weekend. I can't let anybody fucking ruin this for me.
So after Outer Range, the only 2 movies I watched, I'll start with the second one I watched. Rewatched the second Hobbit movie, The Desolation of Smaug, the extended version with my brother. And this fucking thing is bloated as a motherfucker. Like that first movie is the only thing that prevents the first movie from being as good as The Lord of the Rings is the CG. I was like, yo, Peter Jackson just relied too much on CG. I was like, there's shit in this where I was like, this would have been done better if it was practical. And that holds true here. But goddamn, did they just fucking pad this shit out with unnecessary garbage where I'm just like, Legolas and the other elf should not be in this. And they're in a love triangle with this fucking dwarf. Fucking Gandalf's fucking side quest is more visually and narratively appealing than the main fucking story. That's a problem.
Yeah, it's like you
could tell Peter Jackson. It feels like WB had their hands in everything except for that Gandalf side quest, and you could tell Peter Jackson was just like, oh yeah, like that was old Peter Jackson doing the Dutch angles, the scares, the fucking quick cutting.
Like he was, because Peter Jackson he started off his career kind of aping Sam Raimi's style.
I want to say he was aping. They came around at the same time. Like they're both. He's just a New Zealand Sam Raimi.
All right, fair.
Also, Gandalf shit. Almost a lot of that was practical or shot on set. So I was just like, yo, it was more appealing. I don't know, man. Get to the end of this shit, and I'm just like, bro. This should have just been 2 fucking movies. Now I gotta rewatch this third movie, and I'm just like, yo, this third movie shouldn't even exist.
Yeah.
I just remember the third movie starts off with the demise of Smaug, and why didn't they just put this at the end of this fucking movie? Because the story's still not over once Smaug dies. Like, we gotta figure out what happens with the dwarves. So that could have been a nice little wrap up. Like the fact that there's a whole nother fucking movie.
Like I said, I have never had any interest in watching any of these movies. And
watch the first one. The first one's good.
Yeah, but like the first one's not even self-contained, right? I gotta watch the second one.
At least it has a narrative through line. Like there is a beginning, middle, and end, even if the main story's not done. Like it's like Dune Part 1, except it doesn't have as big as a cliffhanger as Dune Part 1.
All right.
And then the only other thing I watched is the OG Top Gun. I rewatched it because my brother never saw it, and then because we saw the second one. And outside of Tony Scott and the cinematography and the dogfights, like this movie's a piece of shit. It's still part of the holy trinity of cinematic caucasity, along with Grease and Point Break. Like Maverick is a piece of shit in this movie. Kelly McGillis tells him like, yeah, I'm not fucking interested. And she goes to the ladies' room, and this nigga follows her into the ladies' room. And I'm just like, what the fuck are you doing, dude?
That's 80s courtship for you. That's 80s courtship.
Yo, like, and then every fucking tender moment in this fucking movie is underscored by "Take My Breath Away." Like you hear those chords 8 times in the fucking movie. That dun 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 dun. And I'm just like, God damn, again. And the love story's so hokey. The sex scene made me laugh. I was just like, this is why people had unrealistic expectations of sex. Cause like, yo, nigga, I was expecting when they were having sex, I was like, all right. Not only was it so Hollywood, I was expecting like rainbows and unicorns and like little fairies coming out singing. Oh,
Look, like you got to give it up to Tony Scott for making this what it was, because a lesser director, we wouldn't be talking about this movie. Yeah, we'd be talking about it like as like how they talk about fucking I don't come up with a horrible movie that was ill-advised. Most of them.
This shit explains so much about that generation and why they love that movie. Just because this shit is wild homoerotic. Like the volleyball scene. You're playing with the boys as they're all sweaty and shit. I'm like, yo, I was just like, yo, this is wild. I was like, this is what y'all definition of masculinity is. These niggas playing yo. That was like I was like, damn, dude, this is like watching a fucking softcore gay porn, dog.
I mean, look, they've been making references to that, since the movie came out. Like if you watch Sunny, it's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. There's a whole entire montage where this is playing, and Mac is just ass slapping dudes uncomfortably.
Oh yeah, I got that's in this too, because they do that a couple of times. Yeah. Where I was just like, ooh man, I was watching. I was like, this is oh boy.
Yeah, they like I said, God bless Tony Scott for bringing this in, because they fired him 3 times. I read they fired him 3 times from this fucking movie, because his. I want to see the director's cut of this. I want to see what. I think he had a different vision than Simpson and Bruckheimer, and that's why they fired him fucking 3 times.
God damn, this movie made me go, hey yo, a few times. I was like, yo, some of the shit in this movie, I'm like, God damn, yo, Maverick is so unlikable in this shit. Where I was just like, actually, I'll take that back. Not only is Maverick unlikable, but fucking Iceman's straight up a villain, and then they become best friends at the end of the movie. I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah,
Maverick, yo, this was peak Tom Cruise, when Tom Cruise was a sex icon. This nigga got the wild unibrow, like the straight up wild unibrow. I was like, yo,
leave my official hair alone. It was the 80s.
Oh, I was like, oh my God, yo, this movie fucking, God damn.
Yeah, and that's why I can't wait to talk about
2. Yeah, 2. Yo,
it is.
Yo, talk about spinning magic from shit, man.
Night and fucking day.
Yeah, like it's this. And the other thing is, this movie don't really have a fucking story.
Yeah, that's always been my problem with this, with Top Gun, is like, but what's it about? Like, what happens? Like, I know stuff happens.
Yeah.
But
and Goose's death is so weightless. You're just like, oh, okay, that sucks. Yeah. And that's the other thing I hated too, is like, yo, Maverick's doing all this shit, and I'm like, nigga, your fucking co-pilot has a wife and kids, and you're not thinking about him. He's like, yo, don't do this because we can get in trouble. He's like, I have a family to take care of. And Maverick's like, well, I'm going to do it anyway. And I was just like, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro? Dude's a sociopath.
Right. And that's why Night and Day, like, I can't wait until we get into this main review, because literally all of the problems in the first Top Gun have been addressed and are motivators in this second one.
Man, yo, yeah, fuck. You're still part of the Holy Trinity of cinematic caucasity. So since I sat through this, I guess for the next episode, I'm gonna have to fucking sit through the last part of the Trinity that I have not seen all the way through. Yeah, I've tried 5 times to watch this motherfucker. So now I gotta try and sit down through this shit. And maybe, who knows, maybe Grease 2 is better than Grease 1.
I think I saw Grease. Wait, they had they re-released it in back like 98 or 99, and I think I went to see it just because I was trying to get some ass.
Of course.
And that was
that's white girl's favorite movie.
I mean, I love the white girls.
Every white girl's like, oh my god, I love that movie.
Right. So like I think that was the one and only time I actually saw Grease. So if you want to watch it together and to endure this, I will take that hit for you, man.
All right, and that's it. Let's move into trailer talk. All right, let's go.
All right, let me end this and record.
All right, do. Now it's time for trailer talk. All right, so the first trailer we'll get into Easter Sunday. It looks fine.
Yeah, it looks. I was never a big fan of Joe Coy's comedy.
Yeah,
I could never get more than 10 minutes into any of his comedy specials, but I mean, good for him that he's got a movie. Good for Filipinos, for Filipino representation. This movie is not for me. I'm not like if we get a screener for it or something like that, like a digital screener, I'm not going to a fucking theater to see this. But yeah, I'll watch it. But it looks fine.
I got nothing to add to that, so I will leave it at that. Father of the Bride, the new Father of the Bride that's coming to HBO Max next month, that we were told about in advance, and honestly, it looks cool. Like, if you're gonna do it, this is the way to do it. Like, do it completely different from the ground up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm here for Andy Garcia. Anything Andy Garcia's in, I'm there for, and it looks funny.
Yeah,
it looks different enough from the Steve Martin version and what was the original version? Who was the?
It was in like 1951. I can't remember.
I can't remember who was in the original. It looks, each one of them have looked different than the others with the same main plot points. So I enjoyed the Steve Martin one. I never saw the 50s version, but like, fuck it. Yeah, let's do it. It looks good.
All right, let's do We Are at Westworld season 4.
Okay, so I never watched season 3, right? Because it just didn't look interesting to me. But everyone keeps on saying season 3 was a course correction. This trailer looks hard as fuck. So now I'm gonna have to watch season 3 just so I can be on the same page for what we saw in this trailer.
Season 3 shorter than season 1 and 2. It was only 8 episodes because they broke the story, and that's how many they got. Season 1 was definitely a transitional season, and this looks like it's picking up the pieces because season 3, it ends pretty big.
Okay.
And they do something with a character where I was just like, how's this person coming back? But in the previews, I was like, oh, this person's back.
Right. Okay.
How? I was like, how is this person back after the finale of season 3? Because I remember when season 3 aired, I went on Twitter and everybody's like, yo, what the fuck? How is this show even going to continue? I was like, yo, what the fuck, man? And seeing this person back, I was just like, okay, all right.
Well, yeah, like it looks good. My problem with Westworld, like I love the first season. The second season looked like it was too hard. It was trying too hard to suck its own dick.
Yeah.
you know.
Well,
And
you know what, man? I will give season two, at least it was trying to tell a story. It told a story. It, while it may or may not, it worked for me. It may not work for other people, and I get why it didn't work for other people. But at least it tried to tell a story and wasn't trying to one up you like Tenet was.
right.
Like
I mean,
like I appreciate Jonathan Nolan being smart than Christopher Nolan, because Christopher Nolan does it because he's smarter than you. Jonathan does it because he's trying to tell a story and keep you engaged.
right. And I get that. And like I was on repeat viewings of 2, I was able to understand it more and better.
Right.
It just seemed it seemed like that whole entire the Nolan boys doing what Nolan boys do, trying to make you feel dumb for me, and make you show you how dumb you really are.
I didn't think that. Not for season 2.
Yeah. So, but
season 3 was a transitional season, man. Like it again, it's one of the things where you have to watch the whole season and see how it comes together.
yeah, so I'm gonna have to jump on that bandwagon and watch season 3. I'm you know what, I'm gonna have to watch. It's been so long since I've been in Westworld. I'm gonna have to rewatch the whole entire series.
Season 3, and I know why season 3 didn't do well. It dropped right at the height of the pandemic where we're still in lockdown. And the last thing you want to watch is some esoteric sci-fi where you're going to have to really think. So.
Right.
But now here we are with season 4. And season 4, this looks nuts. I'm very interested to see how this story is going to continue to play out, and especially since I can't really talk about it since you haven't seen it, just because there's something with Ed Harris's character where I'm just like, oh man, I'm this new trailer. I'm like, yo, all y'all are fucked. All y'all are fucked.
All right, let me because Ed Harris has constantly been the best part of that show for me.
Yeah, they do something with his character in the 3rd season where you're just like, oh, okay, so now we're fully into movie territory. Because if you've seen the original movie, you'll understand what I'm talking about.
Right, and it's been a minute since I've seen the original movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, let me get back in it. Let me jump back.
So we'll end on another review of Avatar: The Way of Water, because they dropped the trailer Monday morning. I saw it in IMAX 3D, and I will tell you what, there's very few things I want to see in 3D, and this one I'm like, yo, if IMAX 3D tickets went on sale, I'd be like, yo, let's cop some tickets for Avatar in IMAX 3D.
Right, because I mean, say what you will about the first Avatar, like James Cameron made 3D a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was the granddaddy of it. Like this new resurgence of 3D. I'm not talking about like those blue and red lenses they had in the fucking 50s, 60s, and 70s. We're talking about like fully immersive 3D, and he was the person first out the gate, like putting his dick on the table, like this is what it can do. So yeah, I mean, this was designed to be seen like that, because if anything, he's a futurist, he's a technologist. So he's all about that immersive viewing experience. So this has got to be next level 3D.
I mean, I was not that impressed with the first one visually. This second one, the trailer for this one just visually blows it out of the water.
Yeah, I mean,
even the Na'vi in this one, I'm just like, yo, I'm impressed. The character designs are the same, but they look so much better.
It's
insane.
Cleaner. I mean, 13 years. 13 years, the technology has grown leaps and bounds.
And like I said, he lit it like a movie. Like the cinematography tricks he's using, I was just like, oh, this motherfucker's making movies.
Yeah. So, and we were talking about this the other day yesterday in line. James Cameron is great with sequels.
Yeah.
Like
I'm expecting Terminator 2 levels.
Right. So Terminator 2, Aliens,
He wrote Rambo.
Right, like we have First Blood Part 2. So the dude can kill a sequel. So I'm not gonna say I'm excited for this movie, but I will say I am optimistic
You know what, man? I will give it this. This is one of the last few original franchises where the filmmaker and creator has total auto anatomy over, can do
Right.
whatever the fuck he wants, and that I gotta applaud because I mean, goddamn, man, I'm glad it's something different.
No, like, look, no more superhero movies.
Like I feel like Lex Luthor from BVS. Like the red capes are coming.
Yeah,
The red capes are coming.
and the fact that they're making you quote this movie to explain your feelings on it shows you where we are.
Yeah, man. All right, so let's get into the man review.
All right.
You
So
want-
which one we gonna do first?
Do you want to stop it and
No, because like we have a half hour.
okay. All right. All right, Film Blur's main review. All right. So let's start with Men.
Oh, this movie is weird as fuck.
This was a nice palate cleanser after fucking Doctor Strange. I was just like, thank God somebody can still get something like this made. And I can't believe it's coming out in between all these blockbusters. I'm like, A24, y'all niggas are making no money off this motherfucker.
Oh, not at all. You know what? They'll make a little money once word gets out how utterly Alex Garland this film is.
This movie does not give a fuck if you can understand it or not. And that's what I love about it.
Yeah, I mean it's a movie that we don't get that often at this sort of budget. It feels like old school, like Cronenberg or Lynch. It's just fuck it. I know
a mix of both.
Yeah, it's like, well, I know what it means as the director. I fuck the rest of you. You know.
I would tell you guys before seeing this movie, brush up on the myth of the Green Man because that will help. He's a old pagan god. There's imagery throughout, even in the church, that has images of the Green Man. Brush up on it. It plays into some of the themes that he's doing here. If you're not familiar with Adam and Eve, brush up on the story of Adam and Eve before you come into this. The house, to me, like everything in this movie, like the woods represents like the Garden of Eden.
Right.
The house itself represents hell because if you've noticed, the walls on the house are like blood red.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, so she's in hell.
Yeah, and like and the caretaker also he even makes a reference to the apple.
Yeah, he's like, oh, this forbidden fruit. You shouldn't have done it because that's the first thing she does is walk over to the apple tree and bites right into it. And then once the stalker first gets to the house, first thing he does is shake the apples off the tree.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this whole entire movie is a meta sort of commentary on gaslighting
and the different transgressions of men, because all the different men in this movie are shitty. I don't want to tell you how he portrays the men in this movie because I was shocked and surprised by it. But then that plays into the commentary of, yes, all men are shitty, and I get what he's trying to do.
Right, different types of shitty. Like
different levels of shitty. So don't watch. I would say I only saw the teaser trailer for this movie. I'm glad I've only saw the teaser trailer. I'm glad we decided to skip the full trailer because that night, Jeff, when we got home, I watched the full trailer, and that full trailer gave way too much away.
I didn't even realize it was a full trailer.
I told you, I was like, yo, do you want to review the full trailer? You're like, nah. I was like, yeah, because I don't want to do it either because that teaser was...
It's more than I needed to know. Is in the teaser trailer.
This movie, the thing I love about it is this movie gets under your skin and it creeps you out that way. There's no jump scares. There's no cheap shots.
Right.
It gets under your skin through the atmosphere and then the dread.
It's unnerving.
Yes.
It's not it, but it's I actually had nightmares about it that night, but not like nightmares, just like really just uncomfortable dreams.
Because you haven't seen anything like this, and like it is for what it's doing. It is realistic. It's grounded in reality. Like, folks, this is
until it's not.
Well, we'll get into that as opaquely as we can, but this is a folk horror movie, and what makes it folk horror is because it's set in the countryside in beautiful wilderness. Like the colors in this. Shout out to Rob Hardy. That's Alex Garland's go-to DP. He makes the colors pop, and it's just beautiful at times.
Yeah, no, the movie is beautiful. Even the scene that we can't even, I don't want to talk about, I don't want to ruin, even as unnerving as that is, it's shot really, really well. It's beautiful, as beautiful as that could have been.
Well, I want to say one of the characters harassing oh man, what's her name? Jessie Buckley's character. Even one of the characters harassing Jessie Buckley's character was wearing a Marilyn Monroe mask, and that's when I was like, oh man, you're using. Doesn't matter who you are. Everybody thinks Marilyn Monroe was a dime. She was like literally one of the most beautiful women to ever walk the planet. Let's keep it real. When I saw that person show up with the mask, I was just like, I get what you're doing, dog. I see what you're doing.
Yeah. And you said it as soon as the screening was over. People are going to fucking hate this movie. You're either really going to fuck with it or you're going to hate it.
The good news is this movie flies by. It's only an hour and 40 minutes, and it fucking moves. So there's never a dull moment. I will say, though, and this is what me and Jeff don't want to spoil, so I'll just say this. The climax of the movie is the most insane shit I've ever seen in a movie. And I started laughing because I was like, this is insane. It is gross. I can't believe and we were drunk. So I'm sitting there with my mouth open, like, am I hallucinating? And I'm looking around and everybody else is laughing too. I'm like, okay, so it's not just me.
Right. We were 2 pitchers of tequila with 2 pitchers of margaritas in, and then this shit comes up. And I'm like, have I broken my brain?
Yo, I was laughing so hard. And then I stopped laughing because once it got to that last point, I was like, that's where the whole theme of the movie comes in. Do I think the themes of this movie come together nicely? Probably not. And there probably is a way it comes together. I'm just not seeing it. I kind of wish I stuck in contact with my professor, Foster Hirsch, because he'd probably be able to break this movie down.
Yeah. I mean, as uncomfortable as it was watching it, I'm going to have to watch it again just to really get to the subtext.
I can't wait to see this again with some people I'm going with just to gauge their reaction.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think Alex Garland might have needed a female hand to read over this.
I don't know. I don't think he did, because that's not the statement he was making. I think he needed a little more feminist bent. That's why I think he needed like a female hand to look over the script a little more. Oh, maybe, like, I don't know. Maybe Jessie Buckley had some input, because it's really literally there are 4 actors in this whole entire thing.
Well, 5, because it's the female police officer.
Oh, I forgot about the female police officer.
Rory Kinnear, her best friend,
right?
Her, and then her husband. And I don't want to say what happens with her husband either, because that's part of the emotional core of the movie.
Right.
And feeds into the theme. But like, this is a movie for me. It is not a movie for you. I'm not going to recommend anybody see this, just because this is for, if you love cinema as much as I do, then go see it, because this ain't fucking Marvel.
Right. This is a grown up adult movie. Like I said, if you fuck with Cronenberg, if you fuck with Lynch, then you're gonna fuck with this.
Let me say this. If you liked, because his work has gotten more and more opaque as we moved along. So if you like Ex Machina and then you liked, but didn't like Annihilation, definitely skip this. If you liked Ex Machina, you liked Annihilation, but you didn't like Devs, definitely skip this, because Devs, as opaque as Devs is, this one is his hardest work to engage with.
Yeah, it's his least accessible.
Yeah, so I'm excited for his next movie, though. Civil War already got greenlit. It's an action movie.
Yeah, so I can't imagine what this dude's gonna do with an action
movie from A24. Yeah, and starring Kirsten Dunst. That's another thing I've noticed too throughout his work, starting with Ex Machina. All of his movies center around a female.
Yeah,
so Ex Machina, Annihilation, Devs, and now Men.
So let's see. Let's see an A24 action movie written and directed by Alex Garland. Let's see what that's all about.
So let's move into the big one. Top Gun Maverick.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I when the movie started yesterday, when the first notes of the opening Top Gun theme started, you just audibly hear a critic go, "Ooh." And I started laughing. I was like, this nigga gonna cream his pants over some music 2 seconds into the movie.
Look, I'm gonna say this right now, and this is not hyperbole. Top Gun Maverick may be a fucking as close as we've gotten in recent years to a perfect fucking film.
This might be the movie of the summer. Like, I don't imagine there's going to be any movie that is going to top this. As a matter of fact, thinking about it more and more, this is my number one movie of the year so far.
Yo, it's on my list, dude.
The Batman was my number one, and now this is.
Like, I can't believe how much I love this fucking film.
A fucking Top Gun sequel at that.
Like a Top Gun sequel that no one asked for.
So I want to say off the bat, this one has a story. This one is wall-to-wall action. And what makes it awesome is that almost every moment in this movie has an emotional beat. And the emotional beats are paid off either immediately or maybe a scene or two later. Like, everything's paid off emotionally. Like, this shit will have you tearing up and sitting on the edge of your seat at the same fucking time. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Christopher McQuarrie knows how to write a fucking movie.
Fuck you. Praise McQuarrie, man. Like, this dude knows how to do it. He knows. I hope him and Tom Cruise just work fucking forever, because I think Christopher McQuarrie has just tapped in to who Tom Cruise is, and like can just write for him.
Yeah. I will say this, the first 10 minutes of this movie has more emotional stakes and more character-driven plot than most movies that of the past 2 years since the pandemic started.
The first 10 minutes of this fucking film could have been a film.
It could have been normally that would be the climax of a movie. And this is how the fucking shit starts off.
And this movie is funny. It's not trying to be funny. It has humor in it, and it comes from the situations. It's not trying to be shoehorned in it. Like after the test pilot thing, when he's in the fucking restaurant and he has that interaction with that little kid, I was like, yo, this movie's got me.
Fucking and let me tell y'all, like, I was sitting there with my arms crossed, especially during the opening credits, because I was like, oh, we're doing this shit again. Highway to the changes. I was like, oh man. I sat there, I was like, man, fuck this shit already. We're only 2 minutes in, we doing this dumb shit again. And then
eight minutes later.
And then I'm saying, like, fucking 8 minutes later, I was like, yo, what the fuck?
Right? Like, all right, so I want to you have to see this big. You
see it in IMAX. It's shot in IMAX, and trust me, the sound design, like, it's meant to be seen loud and large.
and the action is most of it's practical. But like, I want to isolate this one thing.
No, don't give it away. Don't give it away.
I'm not gonna give it. I'll give it away. All right, but like during one of the dog fights, right? One of the pilots does a move,
An evasive maneuver.
An evasive maneuver, and I swear to God, me and fucking Miles Teller on the screen at the same time, we both went, "What the fuck?"
Yo, because
that's what I knew. That's what I knew.
Yo, because as soon as that happened, I was thinking, "Holy shit!" And then Miles Teller said, "Oh, what the fuck?" I was like, "Yeah, nigga, what the fuck?"
Right.
Dog, yo, guys, I'm not shitting you. Almost 90% of this movie's practical, and I'm surprised nobody died. Like these jets cost $14 million a piece, if not more. Some of them up to $25 million. And the Navy was okay with actors flying these shits the way they do. I was just like, this is fucking insane. The shit they do with planes, I'm like, you can do this shit with a fucking plane?
They don't make movies like this anymore.
Nah, man. This is the best aerial combat I've ever seen in my life.
Right. And like, let's talk about the nostalgia aspect. All of the nostalgia, all of the callbacks have payoffs, and they're not there just to be there. They are story moments.
Yeah. I mean, everything in this is in it for a reason. That's why I liked it. I was like, okay, this all, like, even Jennifer Connelly's character, there's a throwaway line in the first one where Maverick's getting chewed out. He's like, yeah, and you're with the Admiral's daughter. Well, guess what? Jennifer Connelly's the Admiral's daughter.
Yeah. Yeah. And like all of the acting is on fucking point. Everybody's killing it.
Yo,
everybody.
Shout out to all the new crew, because in these legacy sequels, like the newer characters are always written shittily just because you could tell adults don't know how to write young people nowadays. Right. But like everybody's written like actual characters.
Right. They're younger, but they're still not young. You know what I'm saying? Because they're still professionals. Like they are the best of the best pilots in the Navy.
Also, shout out to Jay Ellis. My dude, you started off as a herb on Insecure. Now Lawrence became everybody's favorite character on Insecure. Now you flying jets and shit with
fucking payback, baby.
Oh, like, yeah, that was a hard ass call sign. Also, shout out to Lewis Pullman. He's in he stole the show in Bad Times at the El Royale. He's doing great things on Outer Range. He plays a character called Bob. That's his call sign, Bob. They're like, so what's your name, Bob? They're like, okay, what's your call sign, Bob? And they're all like, what the fuck? Like, he's a weird motherfucker,
but he's on the fucking team.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that I remember everyone's fucking call sign.
Phoenix.
The Phoenix, you got fucking Hangman, you got Bob, you got fucking Fanboy.
Even his superiors, like the black dude Warlock, Warlock was like, yo, I got your back, and he did. And then the other black dude with the glasses, there came a point where it was time to go on the mission.
You mean Hondo? Yeah.
And he looks at Maverick and he's like, yo, Maverick. And he just like almost starts crying. And I was like, damn, you about to make me cry, nigga. And even Maverick staring at him like Maverick even almost started to cry because he's looking at him. He's like, yo, this is the dude I've been with since the beginning.
It's like he's his ride or die. And he's like,
yeah,
you may not come back from this one. Yeah.
Yo, fucking speaking of ride or die, like we said, Iceman was the villain the first one. Yo, Iceman is
the patron saint of Maverick.
Iceman is the heart of this movie. And I will tell you what, the way they treat Val Kilmer in this movie made me want to stand up and clap. Like, it was so much respect, and like it was done so tastefully. And like, bro, I almost cried. Like, I don't want to give it away, but you'll see why. But I almost cried.
I almost cried like 5 times during this movie. Like, not even joking. Like,
also, you don't need to see the first one to see this one.
Right. No, I mean, your viewing experience will be enhanced, but you don't need to know anything about the first movie to get this movie. Because like
the first 4 minutes are the same. Like I'll say this: the first 4 minutes are the same. Like it starts off with the music, starts off with the opening titles, except they updated it because in the first one it says the top men in the Air Force. Now this one says the top men and women in the Air Force. And then you get the Danger Zone opening credits, and then that's where it diverges from there.
Yeah. Like I can't talk enough about how much I fucking love this movie, man.
Yo,
like,
and shout out to Joseph Kosinski, dog, because like, yo, he directed the fuck out of this movie.
He did the damn thing.
God damn, like this is his best movie. Like I always thought the dude was a good visual
stylist.
Yeah. But never a good storyteller. And now this is the movie that finally like he was able to tell a good story while maintaining his style.
Right. And you know, yeah, I want to see this movie again right away. Like we were in the theater and it's like, can we get an encore? That's how good this fucking movie is.
Dog, there was a dude next to me and he was like giddy the whole time. Like he was looked like either my age or a little younger. And he was like rocking in his seat, like fist pumping and shit. And I'm just like, bro, we're at a critic screening. And if critics are reacting like this, I can only imagine what the general public is going to think when this movie comes out. Like, guys, please make this a hit. Because if this is not a hit, then we're going to get nothing but fucking Marvel movies till we die. Like, this needs to be a hit. You're not going to see a better movie this summer. In fact, people are calling for it to be nominated for Best Picture. And you know what?
I'm here for it. I'm fucking here for it.
Fucking do it. Because, like, yo, I don't know if we're going to see a movie as good as this
year.
Yeah.
You know us. You've been listening to us for over a year. You know what our tastes are. The fact that we're both like, fucking Best Picture. Yeah.
I was just talking mad shit about the first one. Yeah. And now here I am moments later saying like, yo, go see the second one on the biggest screen you can, preferably IMAX. Like, go, whatever theater near you has the biggest auditorium, the loudest auditorium, that's where you want to see this motherfucker. This movie is the reason why theaters exist. Now I understand why both Tom Cruise and both Jerry Bruckheimer, because I know Jerry Bruckheimer did too. They went to Paramount. They're like, nah. Y'all not shoving this shit to streaming, motherfucker. This shit's coming to theaters.
They like fucking Tom Cruise.
I climbed up on that boardroom table. I unzipped my pants and I was like, fat. I put my dick on the table.
Also, I want to give a shout out to Jerry Bruckheimer for not having his ego in the way and using the old Don Simpson, Bruckheimer.
I was just about to mention that. It was also, like a Don Simpson, Jerry Bruckheimer, John.
I want you kids who don't know who fucking Don Simpson is, Google him and see why you don't do copious amounts of cocaine.
Right.
That's my life story to you. There's a reason why Jerry Bruckheimer is still one of the most powerful people in Hollywood, and Don Simpson's no longer with us.
Right. I mean, like that was, some people didn't make it out the 80s.
And now, like, watching
wasn't he? I don't think it was an overdose. I think he was suicide.
No, I think, we'll correct it next time, but I think he died from just partying too hard.
Yeah, but like, we'll have to go. But like, Don Simpson, Jerry Bruckheimer, they own the fucking 80s and 90s.
Bro, now watching this, I'm like, yo, I want those Jerry Bruckheimer movies back.
I want those fucking old
Air, fucking Enemy of the State, fucking The Rock. Like, Michael Bay came from there, Tony Scott. Like, they all have a distinct style. It's similar because it's the Jerry Bruckheimer, Don Simpson school of filmmaking. Because in the 80s and 90s, music videos are big, and those movies, like the big budget blockbusters you used to get in the 80s and 90s, were just basically music videos.
Fuck, but I
watching this, I was like, damn, I missed this because, all practical effects, real niggas flying these jets, they could have died at any moment.
Right.
Flying Navy hardware. Jeff, it took these actors, they did all this training and all this shit. They learned everything in 3 months. 3 months, and they pulled off, like, there's a Cobra maneuver in this movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, y'all managed to pull this off with 3 months of training? How fucking insane is that? Like, y'all motherfuckers should be dead.
Yeah.
Like, people who've been flying in the Navy can't even do this, and they've been doing it for years.
Fuck. I can't talk enough about this movie, but like, just like you were talking about, like the old school Don Simpson, Jerry Bruckheimer logo in the front, I gotta give a shout out to they gave Tony Scott his flowers at the end of the movie.
Yeah, I said in memory of Tony Scott.
And because fuck, like Tony Scott will be proud of this goddamn movie.
Oh yeah. I like, yo, guys, I can't say it enough. Like, go see this movie. Like, I can't wait to see it again. Like, I might buy I might buy a listener a ticket in like IMAX so they can go with me to watch it. I hate Danger Zone, Jeff, and I was listening to that shit yesterday. I was like,
highway to
I was like, damn, this shit. Yeah, I was like, yo, walking out this movie, you're gonna be hyped as fuck. Like this made me love big budget filmmaking again.
Right, because it's not just about the action. It had fucking heart.
That's the thing, though. This movie is wall-to-wall action, but it's all in service of the story it's telling, not the story in service of the action. And let me say this. The last 40, 30 minutes of this movie is relentless, just non-fucking stop.
Your asshole will be tight throughout that fucking last half hour.
Oh man, this shit is, and it pays off some shit from the first movie in that last bit where I'm just like, oh, I was just like, yo, yeah, fucking, I can't say it enough. I understand why this movie was delayed for 3 years and held on to throughout the pandemic, because you have to see this in a fucking theater.
Yeah. And you know what? I would not be mad if we got another sequel.
Oh, yeah. Because now that we know that Mission Impossible 8 is the last time we'll see Tom as Ethan Hunt, I'm pretty sure he's setting this up where this is going to be what he wants to do. This is his new franchise because he doesn't have to do too much physical things anymore.
Right.
And because we already hinted to it in this one, we could go to space and do some space war shit.
I mean, let's not go full Fast and the Furious yet.
But they got the planes that can go to low level fucking space shit where they keep it in the atmosphere, because they could do some stealth missions, and then
there's going to be a whole entire new generation of pilots who are going to be inspired by this fucking film.
Yeah, and motherfuckers are going to go see this and then go join the Navy being like, yo, I love how it's a commentary on blockbuster filmmaking. Like fucking Ed Harris's character's like, you guys are obsolete. We could just do this all with unmanned drones now.
They fucking call him the Drone Ranger.
Yeah. And I was just like, yo, if this is not a commentary on blockbusters and how people aren't needed, how you could just do it all in front of a green screen, when watching this, I'm like, no, it matters. It's night and day between a green screen and seeing that shit done for real. That's movie fucking magic.
Look, shots fired. Tom Cruise show you how it's done. Tom Cruise showed you why he's the biggest star on the fucking face of the planet.
Yo, everybody step up. It's like this, No Time to Die, Dune, and The Batman. Like, y'all got to step up. These movies cost less than $200 million and are doing much more, have a bigger scale, more action than these fucking Marvel movies that cost 200 or more. Like, Jeff, the budget for Top Gun Maverick, $152 million.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. That's what practical gets you. Gets you cheaper and better.
Fuck. $150 million for the shit that they did. You don't.
And nothing in Doctor Strange comes close to this motherfucker.
Right. The first 10 minutes of Top Gun is better than the entire 2-hour runtime of Doctor Strange. Let that fucking sink in.
All right. And that was episode 47. Go see Top Gun in IMAX.
See it. That's if you don't see you don't see another fucking movie this year, if you were to die right after seeing Top Gun Maverick, then it was a good fucking run.
Oh, hold up real quick. I just want to say, Y'all got like the only movies I'm looking forward to this summer. Now I'm gonna call you out. You got big shoes to fill, Jurassic World Dominion. You got big shoes to fill, Nope. You got big shoes to fill, Bullet Train. Like y'all three, please deliver.
Shots
Please,
fired.
Lightyear. But you know what? Niggas was crying in 30 minutes into Lightyear, so maybe Lightyear might be Top Gun Maverick for kids, bro. Damn, I guess more movies about jets.
All right, let's see.
That's episode 47, baby.